Welcome back to the Agency Navigators podcast by AgencyCFO. I'm Ro.
I'm Don.
I'm Kayla.
We are so happy you joined us yet again. Today's topic is one that the three of us have really been bouncing around as we've worked with all of our agency partners lately, and we're calling it Don't Get Bored with the Core.
Absolutely. We see this happen a lot. And I suppose it's both to being human. Mm-hmm. So I'll ask Ro, Kayla, maybe this is about the personality types of typical owners.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. It's an entrepreneurial, fast-paced, always moving. What do you think, Kay?
Yeah, I think, the idea of selling insurance, it's exciting because you can, let me rephrase, it's exciting once you're in it because no sale is the same. But I do think after a while, maybe after a few years, doing the exact same thing sometimes isn't as fun. And it's okay to say that, and it's okay to admit that.
Mm-hmm. And if you work with us, so we're going to be really careful because we don't want to get banned on our podcast platforms or recategorized. But if you're an agency partner and listening to this, Don, Kayla, or I have said this to you, and we're going to clean it up a little bit and say, we often tell our agency partners, go sell something.
Stuff.
Go sell some stuff. That's it. Perfect. Okay. Go sell some stuff. Because in the end, that's what it comes down to. So we're going to go through first, write it, earn it, keep it. Let's do some real hardcore agency CFO advice. And Don's go sell some stuff. It really comes from him. So you start.
It is the overarching theme is you can grow your way to prosperity. Mm-hmm. You generally cannot cut your way to prosperity. And I think when new agencies work with agency CFO, they may be surprised as like, okay, you're not really telling me to really, you don't spend a lot of time focused on expenses, where to cut. Mm-mm. No, our message is to sell, and grow. Mm-hmm. Because that builds a more valuable future for ownership, for the team, for the agency as a whole, and all the stakeholders. Growth is the value driver.
And even the clients, the more you grow, the better you're going to serve your stakeholders, as Don said. So obviously go sell something is our first piece of advice. Kay, you want to take the next one?
Absolutely, and earn it. So at this point, if you're writing it and it's a typical insurance cycle, if you're writing it within a month to two, you're earning it. A big part of, earning those pieces and, tell me if I'm skipping ahead here. Are we giving tips for writing it? Okay.
Go for it.
I don't want to get ahead of myself here, but you're writing it, right? It's all on a written basis. You are, probably getting excited. You maybe wrote 100,000. First, is it premium or is it revenue? And two, how much of that is going to convert over next month, 2 months? Is it something that's going to be over a period of time? The idea is we want to earn it as quickly as possible because that's essentially revenue in your pockets.
That's really, really well said because we've seen it. We've seen agency owners, we've seen producers. They get so excited because they wrote it. Great. You wrote it. Fantastic. Kayla said the key. Is it revenue or is it premium? And if you work with agency CFO, we speak revenue. Why?
Because that's all what we spend.
Yeah. We can't
spend premium. It's only revenue. Does it matter what we sell? Absolutely. And I think part of the frustration or why we see so many owners want to stop selling is to become frustrated with non-ideal business. Mm-hmm. Understanding what the ideal prospect, what the ideal client looks like, what industry, how big are they, where are they located, what carrier mix is ideal, or do they fit the carrier appetite for the industry? Mm-hmm. Are they agency bill versus direct bill? Is the revenue recurring or one time? Big difference in the CFO space. All revenue is not created equal. If it's a renewal policy, but if it's one-time revenue, is it as valuable? So all of these elements go to about keeping us motivated. It's a lot better when we're writing our ideal business than when we're trying to find ways to make the non-ideal work.
And I want to give a shout out. We don't do this often, but this time I do. I want to give a shout out to Christopher Cook at Alliance Insurance Services, because it was several years ago. It was really early on. He's one of our long-term agency partners and someone we consider a really dear friend. He gave me the opportunity to work direct with his team, and we created this really cool ideal client charting tool. And the things that we really came out of it, and with his input and the team's input and our guidance, were things like, what are the negatives? Not that, if they are negative to market to, it could be number of accidents, it could be age of the roof, whatever it is in those categories. That's a non-starter then. It gives the team that perspective. On the flip side, positives. So know that we really have deep experience with some of these things we talk about. All right. So now let's go to retain. Well, let's keep it.
Yeah. And it goes back to what you just said, ideal.
Mm-hmm.
What we've learned is much easier to keep an ideal client.
Oh, yeah.
Non-ideal clients tend to be those that turn over the most quickly and give you the most retention headaches.
And I was going to say, give you the most noise. Absolutely. The most noise around. They're just so stressful, aren't they?
So get it right. Kayla?
Yeah, I was not going to bring up, producer commission quite yet. It's still early in the conversation, but consider all of those new policies. You probably just had to pay 40, maybe 50% of that to a producer. If it's not ideal and it's not even retaining within the first year, well, you're out of that money. So talking about earned revenue, well, you don't get to keep that in your pockets because you've now paid that and you're not going to make that up on renewal.
That is really a perfect way to kind of tie it all with the pretty bow of write it, but earn it. Know what you're writing. And we mentioned top carriers quickly. Think about what bonuses, what incentives they're offering. Let the team know, hey, these are our top 3 carriers. This is where it makes sense to write somewhere else. Go for it. But if all things are even, we use our top ones. It's all of this are the core fundamentals that we get bored with. Don't get bored with the core. It's what got you to where you are. It's what's going to keep you going further.
Yeah, and it's funny how often that message gets lost because we get bored. We want to do something different. Shouldn't we be doing something different? And the world's changing and changing quickly. So it doesn't feel like we should be doing the same thing. But oftentimes the right thing to do is when you're successfully writing new business, keep doing it.
Yeah.
And this goes to a lot of times owners and managers think they get to a certain point where I shouldn't be doing that anymore. And growth never goes out of style. And setting that sales culture never goes out of style. So the role of the owner or the top managers may change as you grow, but at some point, it never stops from the growth perspective. Maybe you're not producing it and doing it as hands-on, but maybe the owner transfers from producer to rainmaker, where you're just you're developing prospects.
Yeah.
But there is it's absolutely essential to establish that sales culture is never stop producing.
We had someone recently tell us, what was the comment about, I don't sell.
And that was a red flag because they struggle to grow organically.
Yeah.
And it's that mindset of being a sales culture. We all sell in a sales culture.
We do.
Let me flip that around. Imagine your best performing producer finally hit the number that they needed. Let's say they have $1 million revenue book of business, and they came to you and said, I don't need to write anymore. I'm just going to live off my renewal. You just have to pay me on those. I'm not going to really add much new business, and I'm good with it. That's essentially what you're telling us. When you want to step away from the sales, You don't have to be the direct person. You don't have to be the one that's going to all those sales appointments. But the sales cycle doesn't stop. That's essentially what a book of business is. So imagine your producer telling you that. That's how we feel when you tell us you don't want to sell anymore.
Well said. Very well said.
So in a nutshell, one of our biggest pieces of advice to every agency at the ownership and the top management level, they have to be growth drivers no matter what. You never outgrow that role. It may change. The details of that role may change, but you never outgrow it. That's the hallmark of great organic growth agencies.
If you're not excited about your sales growth, who else will be? You really do set the tone. And we're going to translate that a little bit in terms of setting the tone. Another real insight we want to share is you are the sum of the voices you are listening to. There are a lot of voices in the industry, and we know we're one of them. Some are really fantastic and we love listening to, and some have the same message over and over. So when you hear those loud voices that appear time and time and time again, do they really know you? Do they really know your agency? Are they really in tune to your future? Or do they have your best interest at heart?
Right. Or is it their best interest? So absolutely. There's a lot of speakers on the speaking tour.
And some are fantastic.
Absolutely. And I guess the main question we would say is, what is their true results for themselves? Have they accomplished what they're telling you to do?
That's the best way to say it, because we love our industry. We love the industry partners we work with. And shout out to Team Agency Performance Partners, Kelly and Stephen. We love you guys. We've shouted out to them before. And there are other really fantastic ones out there. We're excited to see what new content they're developing and delivering. That is super exciting to us. But we get on calls with some of our agency owners and they're like, well, I heard that, I just saw this person speak. And it's like, you said it best. What have they done? How have they grown their agency or their, we run AgencyCFO as if it's an agency. We are growth minded. We've had a great year of growth and we want to share that. Okay. Anything to add to that?
I think a really good question is, because it's not taking away from their message, right? It could be a really great sales. Let's talk about sales. Let's say it's something about growth development. You really thought it was a great, speech or piece of content, but does it apply to you? Does it apply to your long-term plan, your long-term goals? A speaker can't know that when they're delivering the message. I'm going to run on the assumption most people are, hope you get a little nugget of information to take with you, not the whole speech, and take it for word. So always consider, how does this apply to you and essentially going to turn into results for you? Mm-hmm. If it's a great message, how does it apply to your plan and your strategic goals? If it doesn't, keep it with context that maybe that's not something you should implement in your own strategies.
I'm going to wrap this up with, I'm not sure of the word, the paradox. And oftentimes what's exciting to listen to in a presentation.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Isn't the most valuable. Or the flip side is sometimes a boring message is really the most valuable. And I think that's kind of the theme of what you're getting today is don't forget sometimes that the mundane might be what feels mundane to you might be the most important thing that you can be doing.
And it is a reoccurring thing for us. We've talked about the magic of the cadence. We've talked about the danger of the shiny object syndrome. Mm-hmm. Why do we keep coming back to these same topics? Because when we're on all of our calls throughout the month, and when you're with AgencyCFO, you get a couple of standing calls. We hold you accountable to meet with us. We hear, I just heard this person speak. Really? Again? Which is in some cases fantastic. It really is. This is a little awkward for us because we do love the industry and there are some really brilliant minds out there. It's more of we've also seen the negative of our agency owners kind of trapped in some not so great thinking.
At the end of the day, value driver is growth. Two segments of growth, new business generation plus retention equals growth, plus profitability grows agency value. So at the end of the day, that's the ultimate filter that I ask everybody to apply is what I'm hearing, is it going to drive growth or improve my profitability and ultimately drive value?
Yeah.
Keep your foot on the gas. That, when the three of us did our little pre-recording meeting and talked about what key takeaways did we want for all of you, write it, earn it, keep it, and keep your foot on the gas. Keep going.
Absolutely.
And the ultimate statement is the last one on our little list. Go for it.
Yeah. Now go out there, and the most important thing you can do is go sell something. I hope you call that prospect. I hope you ask for a referral, whatever it is. Put yourself in motion and make the first move.
Go do it. We're behind you. As always, thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely. Be financially well.
Bye.